From WNIJ Studios on the campus of Northern Illinois University, this is Sessions from Studio A. And we packed up our gear and left DeKalb for this week's show. Join us for a live set from Los Angeles-based singer-songwriter Arielle Silver, recorded at Rockford's Severson Dells Nature Center. I'll also sit down for a talk with Silver about her upcoming album, Watershed.
The next year, 2021, I think that I had been quiet enough and still enough and had had enough time to process that I just got back to writing a lot. Strangely, the songs on this album, I think, are the most joyful songs I've ever written.
Join us for music and stories from Arielle Silver this hour on Sessions from Studio A.
It ain't too funny now, no. But the day's gonna come, honey, when...
Welcome to Sessions from Studio A. I'm Spencer Tritt, and this week we're out of the studio at the beautiful Severson Dells Nature Center in Rockford. We stopped by for their summer concert series, Music at the Dells, and caught a great live set from Los Angeles-based singer-songwriter Arielle Silver. We'll hear that concert this hour and my conversation with Arielle Silver about her career as an educator, the wildfires in California, and her new upcoming album, Watershed. It's Arielle Silver, recorded live at Severson Dells Nature Center this hour on Sessions from Studio A.
This old roof is full of leaks. It's dripping in the kitchen. It's been raining for a week. We're fighting over money again, yeah. Barely making do, holding on to dreams. Gotta choose between the house and a tank of gasoline. It ain't too funny now, no. But the day's gonna come, honey, when we're gonna laugh about the days we counted every penny. We're gonna laugh at all the ways our pockets came up empty. One thing I always think is I got you beans or bank. We're gonna laugh, 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 laugh about it. Catching drops in a pail. The storm's never ending and we're trying to fix the sail. Need something lucky now, yeah. Babe, don't turn to your side. Let's meet in the middle and swallow our pride. It ain't too funny now, no. But the day's gonna come, honey, when we're gonna laugh about the days we counted every penny. We're gonna laugh at all the ways our pockets came up empty. But one thing I always think is I got you beans or bank. We're gonna laugh, 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 laugh about it. Forget about the checking accounts. Take account of all the gifts we've got right here. I am swimming in your love. I wouldn't trade it for $1,000,000 bucks. We're gonna laugh about the days we counted every penny. We're gonna laugh at all the ways our pockets came up empty. But one thing I statue, beans or bank. We're gonna laugh, 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 laugh about it. We're gonna laugh, 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 laugh about it. So I was born on the Gulf of Mexico. My folks wandered around a lot. They were looking for a place to live, and so we moved up north. Not in chronological order, but geographic order. I lived in Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee, Maryland for 6 weeks, Pennsylvania for the duration of a relationship, New Jersey for much of my childhood, New York for a second grade stint, and all of my early adulthood years in Massachusetts. Well, most of my early adulthood years, there was that Pennsylvania stint. I live in Los Angeles now. Moved there about 16 years ago. I crossed over the Mississippi River, across the plains, across the mountains. I've been through darkness, dark nights that lasted a few years. And throughout it, I was looking for the light. I found it oftentimes in strangers who are no longer strangers. I now call them my best friends or my life partner. We all started out as strangers. This is a song about that odd crossing of paths. How we meet people and we have almost nothing in common with them, and yet there's some kind of spark in the spirit. And we look at that person and we know that we're gonna walk the path with them for a little while, or maybe a long while. It's a song called Miracle. Ankle deep in the Pacific, I sink my feet into the foam, looking out on the horizon where the ocean touches the unknown. Hands and knees beside a tide pool, filling buckets for a mold. And while my daydreams are drifting by, you've built a castle with a moat. Ooh, I call it a miracle. You call it unpredictable odds. Maybe I'm more Sense and Sensibility. Maybe you're more Star Wars and Disney spinning the teacups. Faster and I'm looking out for the belt of Orion, beyond the circle of airplanes flying. You're up on LA Stars Award Show fashion. Ooh, I call it a miracle. It seems improbable, the chances, when I think of space and time. We'd even land in the same country. You say, what a lucky roll of dice. Ooh, I call it a miracle. And maybe I'm more Sense and Sensibility. Maybe you're more Star Wars and Disney spinning the teacups. Faster and I'm looking full of belt of Orion, beyond the circle of airplanes, flying Europe on LA Stars award show fashion. Ooh, I call it a miracle. You call it unpredictable odds. Maybe I'm more Sense and Sensibility. Maybe you're more Star Wars and Disney, spinning the teacups faster and I'm looking up for the belt of Orion, beyond the circle of airplanes, flying Europe on LA Stars award show fashion. Ooh, I call it a miracle. Call it a miracle. A haze of smoke, a wall of sound. And I cut right through the kitchen and I sliced right through the crowd to the low-lit room in back with the cinder block shelves and the vinyl stacks. A raspberry hat, tangerine, braid on the candle, at her fingers casting shadows on the shade, and the musky scent of clove, tobacco leaves, cool like Ricky Lee. Oh yeah, she's spinning Ricky Lee. You could say I was a new tune seeker. You could say she was a new groove preaching girl. She might say it was a track for scratching. She might say it was a needle catching. Well, I won't say if I backed away, oh no, no. I won't say if I played it safe. But you know, a whiskey bottle's got a pour, and a ship is safe in harbor, yeah, but that's not what it's for. And a record makes no sound unless that turntable is turning round and round. You could say I was a new tune seeker. You could say she was a new groove preaching girl. She might say it was a track for scratching. She might say it was a needle catching. Well, I won't say if I backed away, oh no, no. I won't say if I played it safe. Daryl S., you take this one. Tune seeker, you could say she was a new groove preaching girl. She might say it was a track for scratching. She might say it was a needle catching. Well, I won't say if I backed away, oh no, no. I won't say if I played it safe. I won't say if I backed away, oh no, 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 no. I won't say if I played it safe.
Arielle Silver, recorded live at Rockford's Severson Dells Nature Center. Find more music from her over on her website, ariellesilvermusic.com, as well as Facebook and Instagram. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with more music, and we'll hear from my conversation with Arielle Silver. This is Sessions from Studio A. Welcome back to Sessions from Studio A, with music this hour from Arielle Silver. In just a little bit, we'll hear from my conversation with her, recorded at Rockford's Severson Dells Nature Center. But first, back to her live performance with another new one from her upcoming album, Watershed. It's Arielle Silver on Sessions from Studio A.
I was in two places at one time, fast asleep beside you, also locked and crying in an attic on the darkest night. Not a silhouette in sight. Couldn't see a simple shape beyond my outstretched arms, a prison of imagined bars. All alone, I cried for help, calling out for someone else. Rattling the bars, shouting at the sky, raging like a banshee at my clipped wings. You never wore a cape, you never learned to fly. All the years I wanted you to save me, like a mystic message prophesized. Dawn broke and I saw clearly what it signified. The key was in my hold and I was all alone. I cried for help, calling out for someone else. All alone, I cried for help, but only I could save myself. Rattling the bars, shouting at the sky, raging like a banshee at my clipped wings. You never wore a cape, you never learned to fly. All the years I wanted you to save me. The darkest night taught me to see. In that moment I was set free. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do. All alone, I cried for help, but only I could save myself. Rattling the bars, shouting at the sky, raging like a banshee at my clipped wings. You never wore a cape, you never learned to fly. All the years I wanted you to save me. The darkest night taught me to see. In that moment I was set free. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Do-do-do, do-do-do. Do-do-do, do-do-do. Do-do-do, do-do-do.
This is Sessions from Studio A, and we're outside of the studio at the beautiful Severson Dells Nature Center in Rockford, and I'm here with Arielle Silver. Thanks so much for being on the show and letting us come out and record the set here today.
My pleasure.
Tell us a little bit about your travels so far here before coming out to Rockford.
Yeah, I was traveling with a singer-songwriter friend of mine through Ohio, Kentucky, North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee. That was about 2 weeks ago, and then I landed in Madison, Wisconsin over the last week to teach on faculty for the summer music clinic that is out of the university. And so I've been based in Madison for the last week. My first time there. It's been a blast, and from there have played at points in Wisconsin and Illinois.
What are you teaching out there? Are you teaching music? Tell us about this.
Yeah, I was teaching for a week of middle schoolers, and we were doing multimedia type of projects, a little bit of songwriting, instrumental composition. Some of the students were playing live instruments like baritone horn and violin or drum kit, and other students were working entirely in the MIDI system. They were, layering tension suspense tracks or something like that, and then also creating video for their projects. I teach at a university in Los Angeles, creative writing, and I also teach yoga. So I do teach, but always adults. This was my first experience since childhood of teaching. They were awesome. There was just something so inspiring about those kids, those young musicians. There's just a real playfulness. It's easy when you, it's easy to make the thing that is play into work, and when you're a musician and you're touring, there's so much, it's your job, which I love. I love doing this. But when you're in a room of middle schoolers bouncing off the wall and, playing drum fills and oompas on the baritone horn, it's like you really remember what play is. It was pretty cool.
That's interesting to hear that you are a professor of creative writing as well, because your lyrics and music features, I would say, a lot of storytelling. One song I wanted to ask about was What Really Matters. I thought it was fitting because we're out here in this beautiful forest right now, and that song is very much an environmental anthem, I would say. Tell us a little bit about that song.
Yeah, I'm an East Coaster. I was born in Florida. I lived up and down the East Coast all the way up to Massachusetts, and 16 years ago moved out to California. And when I got to Southern California, pretty soon after I arrived, we entered wildfire season, which was a time of year that comes every year, but I had never really paid attention. I had never heard about it. We didn't have such a thing on the East Coast. And a couple years ago, we had a particularly bad wildfire season, of course, because of climate change. The fires are burning at higher elevations. They're burning longer and hotter for longer periods of the year. So now, in a bad year, the end of one fire season pretty much runs right up until the beginning of another fire season. Luckily, we've had great rains over the last year or two. But a few years ago, we had a tragedy happen in Thousand Oaks, which is just pretty close to Los Angeles, Southern California. I think it was a Tuesday that a gunman opened fire in a country and western bar. That was on a Tuesday, and before the news cycle could get through that, the next day a wildfire erupted in that same area, and the folks that had been trying to process this tragedy were being evacuated from their homes. And the whole West Coast was really aflame at that time. And I just started to think, what are the vices that we think are so important to us that we, say that we need every single day? Are they really so important when push comes to shove in that moment of having to, evacuate your home?
What would you take if your world was on fire? Right in the wind on a tinder of leaves, flames flying in like an enemy fighter, sunrise in red. Tell me, what would you grieve? When you're burned down to the bedrock, when you're scraped down to the coals, when everything you thought you knew is changing, and you feel the devil fighting for your soul. Flask of whiskey, stash of pot letters from a lover that you should have long forgot. When your tidal waves of tears turn to laughter, that's when you know it comes down, 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 down to what really matters. What really matters. Smoke screens and daydreams don't trip when you're running. Blooms lift to heaven the rest of your home. Falling like snow, you're an angel in ashes. Chimneys and tree bones and churchyard stones. When it comes down to the bedrock, when everything that you've known is shattered glass in the doorways, then you're wrestling with an angel for control. Flask of whiskey, stash of hot letters from a lover that you should long forget. When your tidal waves of tears turn to laughter, that's when you know it comes down, 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 down to what really matters. What really matters. Stash of hot letters from a lover that you should long forget. When your tidal waves of tears turn to laughter, that's when you know it comes down. Flask of whiskey, stash of hot letters from a lover that you should long forget. When your tidal waves of tears turn to laughter, that's when you know it comes down, 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 down to what really matters. What really matters. This is a song about paths not taken. It's called Ghost Ships. We talked forever about a blue house in a magazine, the orange flames of maple trees in fall. We'd fix the cellar, piano in the living room, a bookcase and curtains in the hall. I made a scrapbook in my mind of future times. Ooh, sailing on ghost ships, out to sea on ghost ships, things we never did. Maybe winter, digging out from snow, the last nor'easter froze us to the core. Or maybe youth, we hadn't lived enough to see the way that love can leave you wanting more. By summer we were through House of Blue. Sailing on ghost ships, out to sea on ghost ships, things we never did. Unlived lives on ghost ships, still afloat on ghost ships, lives we'll never live. Now and then I hear some news of you. It looks like somehow we both made it to the other coast. Do you believe in ghosts? Sailing on ghost ships, out to sea on ghost ships, things we never did. Unlived lives on ghost ships, still afloat on ghost ships, lives we'll never live. Do you believe in ghosts?
Arielle Silver on Sessions from Studio A. This week's show was recorded live at Rockford's Severson Dells Nature Center, and you can find behind-the-scenes video from the performance over on WNIJ.org, along with this full episode. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with more music and conversation with Arielle Silver on Sessions from Studio A. Welcome back to Sessions from Studio A with Los Angeles-based singer-songwriter Arielle Silver. Let's get right back to her performance recorded at Rockford's Severson Dells Nature Center. This next one is the opening track from her 2020 album, 1,000 Tiny Torches. This is Arielle Silver performing You Were Light.
Stood out in the cold, the end of an old year. A sprinkling of snow, a noisemaker below. Your face reflected gold and red. You lit your cigarette, and for a second you were light. I could navigate your sky, steer through 1,000 storied miles, sail through miracles and trials. We never saw spring, you never stopped drinking. I searched in the dark, stayed looking too long. I saw your spark and thought of stars that shine 10 billion years. 'Cause for a second you were light, and I could navigate your sky, steer through 1,000 storied miles, sail through miracles and trials. You uncharted waters clear, all of our faults and fractured nights were beautified. Ooh, 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 ooh. You were late. Ooh, 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 ooh. I saw your spark, thought of stars that shine 10 billion years. 'Cause for a second you were light, and I could navigate your sky, steer through 1,000 storied miles, sail through miracles and trials. You were light. All our uncharted waters clear. All of our faults and fractured nights were beautified. Ooh, 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 ooh. You were light. Ooh, 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 ooh. You were light. Ooh, 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 ooh. You were light. Ooh, 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 ooh.
You have some new music too coming soon. I read you have a new album in the works. What can you tell us about the new album?
I can tell you that the first single from the new album is going to be released in July this year, and we have a music video that's coming out with it, and we'll be rolling out a few singles over the next few months, and then the album itself is slated for release in October. And it's a collection of songs that were written during the pandemic. I have a little she shed in my backyard, and I always spent a lot of time out there, but things got really, really quiet in 2020, and there was no place to go. And I was trying to process, like so many others, trying to process what on earth was happening. Literally, what on this planet Earth was happening. And I could not write songs during that time. Plus, I was releasing an album that year in the middle of the pandemic. But the next year, 2021, I think that I had been quiet enough and still enough and had enough time to process that 2021 started, and I just got back to writing a lot. And strangely, the songs on this album, I think, are the most joyful songs I've ever written. A lot of the songs they're just full of hope and gratitude and appreciation for the present moment, and just sort of noticing the micro, when the macro was just too much to understand. It was really the micro, the details of daily living, and just the kindnesses and beauty that helped me to move through the sadness and fear and anger, overwhelm, anxiety, all the things that we were all feeling. It was those moments of beauty that brought me peace. They ended up on the songs.
Excited to hear that first single when it comes out. What's this music video going to be like?
It's funny, there's a prototype of it. I applied for the Tiny Desk contest. So I made a video of me performing this song live. And it's a song about making pie, and it's called Bramblevine. And I just filmed it myself in my kitchen, and on one side of the screen I'm making pie, and then I filmed it again, and on the other side of the screen, same shot, I'm performing guitar. And there's a filmmaker that lives 2 doors down from me, and I thought I knew how to, paste it all together, but I realized after I did all the shooting that I had no idea what I was doing for the editing. So I brought it over to him, and he fixed it up no problem. So that became the prototype or the inspiration for the video that we shot a couple of weeks ago. And when it comes out, you'll see there's some of that split screen, but it was shot in a different location, and there's some other editing and other shots as well. But yeah, this idea of, is kind of a little movie magic there.
Tell people where they can find more from you, where they can check out this new single and music video when it comes out. Where can they keep up with you?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I think that one of the things that we have to do as artists is help people know how to be good supporters of music, and independent music in particular. It's harder nowadays. People don't know how to support musicians. So I would say first and foremost, however you listen to music, please follow my, I'm distributed on every digital platform. I have CDs and, however I downloads, however you do that, it's a big help if you just click like, and you can find links to all of that on my music website, which is ariellesilvermusic.com. It's kind of home base.
Arielle Silver, thanks so much for talking with us and letting us come out and record your set here at Severson Dells. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
I waited for you. I waited for you a long time. Stood outside the schoolyard, swings twisting in the wind. I prayed for you. I prayed for you a long time, to chase you in the park, try to catch you in a sprint. And things I know but cannot explain, how life is measured by what you lose and what you gain, and how to fight for what you treasure. Let it go when it's time to surrender. And how I'll love you only forever. You came to me. You grew up tall and gangly. I taught you to swim. I taught you everything I know. But maybe God was lonely, or fate knew all along, and I'd protect you with my life. But Lord knows I'm not that strong. And things I know but cannot explain, how life is measured by what you lose and what you gain, and how to fight for what you treasure. Let it go when it's time to surrender. And how I'll love you only forever. They say wounds yield a purpose, and cracks bring the light. All I know is stone on the earth, angel in the sky. Things I know but cannot explain, how life is measured by what you lose and what you gain, and how to fight for what you treasure. Let it go when it's time to surrender. And how I love you only forever.
That is a hard song to figure out, because I never know who I'm playing for and what your story is in the audience. But my stepfather also lost one of his daughters, who's my age, and he always requests that song when he comes to see me play. And I've come to realize that sometimes you need to just play a song so that that story is kept out there. But I don't know how to follow it often, and so I asked a friend of mine, what do I do when I play Only Forever, other than like slink away, and she said, you should play Headlights, because this is a song about being in the darkness and finding your way through by following the headlights home. So we'll play Headlights. First, I want to thank Joe and Susan so much for having me here, and Ron for Meridian Music Shed, and Anne, thank you so much for having me here.
past the old town park. 5 miles slow on twisting roads. Every time I hit a bend, it looked like the road would end. I gripped the wheel and I took my time. Felt like the night would last forever. I waited 18 years to leave, but now I wish the time would freeze. I thought, I don't know how this growing up goes, so I followed the headlights. Follow the headlights and the dots of the broken line all the way home. Came back with a broken heart. I made it home for the school reunion. I took a smoke in the back lot, thinking of everything I'm not. Blowing smoke rings to the stars. These years they went so fast now. Wish we could live life in reverse, get a chance to rehearse. But all you know is where you've been. So you follow the headlights. Follow the headlights. And the dots of the broken line all the way home. Life's not flat. Living doesn't unfold like a road. So you follow the headlights. Follow the headlights. And the dots of a broken line all the way home. Now I want to tell you, earlier this week we played for 400 middle schoolers. They were very good at clapping on the beat. Now, you wouldn't want to be outdone by 400 middle schoolers, would you? Yes. On the violin and viola, 5-string fiddle. Thank you so much for having us here tonight. This has been such a joy. I hope that you'll want to lighten my suitcase a little bit so I don't have to go home with all those books and CDs and pins. But most importantly, I hope that you'll join my mailing list so that I can let you know when I'll be back in the area. Hopefully we'll be coming back here soon. Soon, like 6 to 12 months. And so I want to stay in touch with you, and Facebook is not a good way to stay in touch. Thank you so much. Follow the headlights and the dots of broken line all the way home. Follow the headlights. Follow the headlights and the dots of broken line all the way home.
Arielle Silver, giving people goosebumps on Sessions from Studio A. That one, Headlights, is closing out our show this week. You can find that song on her 2020 album, 1,000 Tiny Torches. And keep an eye out for her new record, Watershed, coming out this October, with some new singles coming out before then. Keep up with Arielle Silver on her website, ariellesilvermusic.com, as well as Facebook and Instagram. Also, head over to WNIJ.org to find behind-the-scenes video of this week's show. Thanks so much to Arielle Silver and to Severson Dells Nature Center for having us out to record. You can find more about their music at the Dells concert series over on seversondells.com. If you are a local artist or you're in a band and you're interested in being featured on Sessions from Studio A, just send us an email with some music over to sessions@niu.edu. Sessions from Studio A is produced at WNIJ Studios on the campus of Northern Illinois University. Producers are myself and Mike Lundgren. I'm Spencer Tritt, and thanks so much for joining me this week on Sessions from Studio A.
Like a mystic message prophesized. Dawn broke and I saw clearly what it signified. The key was in my hold and I was all alone. I cried for help.